Well, hello, everybody. Oh, and the little square shows up right off the bat. Let's just wait for it to disappear because I don't know how to turn. Wait, yes, I do. Do I have it turned off? There we go. Manual focus. And then boom, 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 boom. Yeah, boy. Okay, let's see if it stays like this. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first live show in this new format. My first live stream back in the saddle after time off and my grandma passing away. I appreciate all of you for the condolences. Let me know if you can hear me okay. It's just wonderful to see everyone. So I've been testing out this new setup with my patrons for the past month or so, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, but I'm going to be really upfront with you. Like, the live plan with me's are a little boring for me right now. Now, it doesn't mean I don't want to keep doing them, and I'm going to keep doing them. I'm going to alternate doing the live show with the live plan with me's, but there's a little bit of a samey same that happens. It's the discussion during the live plan with me's that is the most fun. So this is kind of doing the discussion, but taking the planner out of it. The other big reason is that I have discovered that sometimes I wind up missing things or planning things poorly because I'm so busy having a great discussion with you guys. And so giving myself a little space to actually plan without doing it on camera is going to be important, although I might film some of them as well. So this live, it's an experiment. Everything's always an experiment, but there will be live plan with me's. Next weekend is going to be a live plan with me, but we're also going to be just having some conversations as well. All right, you can hear me. Also, look at this. I can pop people's comments up. So thank you, Phantom Dreams, sorry for my loss. Thank you, everybody, for it. I really appreciate it. My grandma got to live a very long life, and it was a hard life for her in some respects. You know, she lost all of her kids and her husband before she passed away. But she made her grandkids the reason for living, and I am one of those grandkids. I'm the oldest of those because my older cousin passed away as well. But I'm glad to have had her for as long as I did, especially considering I didn't get my parents for that long. Like, my parents died in their 40s. My grandma died. She was almost 90. She also had PKD and died just as her kidney was starting to fail. So that's good too for her. Self-help versus self-care. So would you like to hear a story about my grandma? Okay. A story about my grandma. Do you want a funny story? A good story about my grandma, and I think maybe something that ties in with this whole self-help thing, is that she was convinced that women, and she expanded that to really understand with like the non-binary, gender non-conforming people in her life, as well as she began to understand what that meant, because that was something she learned with Sunny and with my nibbling, that we are so powerful and so strong. We just have to recognize that and accept it and support each other. So the women's toast, which is now the inclusivity toast in our family, there's a men's toast as well. Everybody who identifies as male goes to the men's toast. Everybody else, whether you identify as female or otherwise, go to the inclusivity toast, where we toast to being strong people. And we did that for so many years. When my mom was still alive, we did that. When my grandma's sisters were still alive, we did that. And it's going to be a little hard, I think, to do it at Thanksgiving this year when we're going to be having her memorial service. But it gives me gratitude when I hear about family members or just people in other families who have struggled with toxic family relationships, toxic sibling relationships. I think to like these toasts that we have in our family, and how even when there's like some strife between members of our family, we come together for those, and I'm grateful for it. I don't know if that was the most story-like of a story, but it's something that's very important to me. As for funny, I'll give you a funny story about my grandma, and then we'll continue on. So my grandma always judged me for the clothes I would wear. You know, shorts are too short, whatever. I finally got to judge her once when I was living with her in between college semesters. She comes out in this outfit. It's a white kind of boat neck shirt with red anchors embroidered on it. And then these red capri pants that had tattered legs. And then she wore gold lame flats. And she had one of those, you guys remember from like the 90s? This was not the night. Well, this was actually the 90s still, because I was a sophomore in college. Those round plastic things that had the line through them, and you would thread your shirt through them, and they usually had rhinestones on them of some sort. Well, she had a red one of those with rhinestones on it, and had her shirt threaded through that. And she comes out and she's so proud of herself for how cool she looks. She's like, "How you like my outfit?" And I'm like, "Grandma, you look like a pirate." She was offended. And I was like, well, that's what you get for giving me shit for my shorts. I have long legs. I'm 6'2". Of course my shorts are going to be short. Bermuda shorts are short on me. All right. So, I have some housekeeping to take care of up front. First and foremost, we'll be doing live every Sunday, same time, 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to be alternating these shows with Live Plan With Me's, and I will still be taking a Sunday off each month for my 3-day weekend that I am trying to do to keep a work-life balance. But so you'll be able to get both, and maybe I'll even publish like a schedule ahead of time. Maybe. I know I give my patrons a schedule every week, and they get a schedule every month, but I might do just the lives, potentially. I'm not sure yet. Also, I'm not going to do it today, or I might do it today, but up front or maybe at the end, I want to do like a wins section specific to the whatever challenge we're working on. So currently it would be Hot Wallet Summer. If you're involved in my no spend for the summer, then we would talk about like something maybe that we didn't buy that we wanted to buy or whatever. That's something to think about. In the meantime, I have a suggestion box. It's right at the top of the description that you can go in for any topics you'd like me to cover here or on the podcast. The podcast will come back at the end of September, and these live shows will likely get incorporated into the podcast because they're kind of be related to each other. So suggestions there, and also for any kind of features like a weekly or a bi-weekly thing, like whether it's talking about challenges or bringing somebody on, talking about like doing a quick rundown of the latest planner community gossip, whatever you want to do, there's a suggestion box. So please use it. I would be ever so grateful. And then finally, and this is not related to this show at all, but House of the Dragon premieres tonight, and I'm very excited about it, and I will likely post my reactions over on Instagram, but if I get questions about it during these shows, then of course I'll talk about it, because fuck yeah, no spoilers though. We'll keep it spoiler-free on the live show on Instagram. I don't know if I can I will try not spoil what I know about the story and just react to the episode. Anyway. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Marie, you had the same outfit. Did you have the little rhinestone-y thing too? Michelle says, my granny would talk about what I wore at times, and the first time she wore grandma pants, I started calling her granny pants, and it stuck. That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Is it on Prime, Sarah asked? No, it's HBO. So if you have the HBO subscription via Prime, then yes. I get it through HBO Max. We have like the HBO Max with our phone plan or something. I don't remember. But yeah. It's a sequel to Game of Thrones. Or a prequel. All right. So now that we've talked about the housekeeping, let's get going. Before I do, I'm going to see if this works. Instagram. And subscribe. I don't think there was any sound effects, though. It has been controversial in this household about what sound effects I'm using. Because I can do things like this. Where is it? Yeah, I can do sound effects. The sound effects are something I am still fucking with. So, suggestions for sound effects. Anyway, let's jump into the topic of the day, which is self-help. This is not self-care. This is self-help. Did I say self-care? I hope I didn't say self-care in my thumbnail, though I might have, because it's been a really rough last few months, I will tell you. Yeah, self-help. We're talking about self-help today. Self-care will come, but today we're talking about self-help and self-improvement. And this is sort of going to be like the overview conversation about how I am reevaluating my process with self-help, my relationship with it, because I'm really not happy with it. But we will go deeper into, I really want to do some deep dives on Tony Robbins and Rachel Hollis, them specifically, but those will come in later episodes if those are what you're interested in. Today is going to be more of a conversation about my thoughts on it. Does the mouse click count as a sound effect? I've not my personal mouse click, but there is one in here somewhere. Oh, did the mouse click work? Then maybe it was still in there. Okay. Does anyone else's morning feel like feeding time at the zoo? Yes. Well, maybe not for the animals, but for the children. Layla doesn't eat breakfast. She usually doesn't eat till lunchtime. She's not a morning eater. And the cats are free feeders for the most part, except for in the evening. All right. So let's start. So to start with, let's just do a brief kind of definition of what I mean by self-help. So I want to show you something pretty funny. This is Samuel Smiles. Isn't that a great name? He wrote the first kind of considered to be self-help books in this like kind of way we look at it. It was called Self-Help. And according to this, I have the articles I'm going to reference linked as well in the description. This is came out the same year as Origin of the Species. So, you heard a mouse click. Oh, well, that might have happened too. That's cool. So it's been around since the 1800s, the whole self-help, self-improvement thing. But I would say that the modern kind of view of it really started to pop into play with a couple of books you've probably heard of, especially if you have ever been in multi-level marketing. I have been in multi-level marketing. That is going to be another episode where I talk about my feelings about that because they are very strong and very specific. But if you've ever been in multi-level marketing, then you likely have heard of these two books. They came out around the Great Depression. One of them is by Napoleon Hill, and it's called Think and Grow Rich. I believe he also was the pastor at the congregation that a certain orange former president went to, this article even goes into it, why it might explain why he has so much self-confidence. The other one is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. These books are, the MLM industry is lousy with these particular books. I'm going to take a second here, answer this question from Missy, random question. Where do you free feed? Oh, I don't like how this looks. I haven't even tested this with the questions yet. Okay, that's something to work on. Where do I free feed cats with Layla in the mix? In the bathroom, where she can't reach. She does not like going in the bathrooms because she doesn't like bats. And so for right now, that is where we free feed them. Yeah, so these books are kind of like the holy grail in multi-level marketing communities. And even though they were written 100 years ago, they still are very highly referenced when it comes to the world of self-help. But now, with the advent of the internet, and especially social media, self-help has kind of evolved into all sorts of different things with different people and different ways of kind of regurgitating it to you. So there's another website I want to kind of look over real quick. And this is one that kind of blew my mind. This is about the self-improvement market. And it's has to do with how it gets delivered to people and how much money it's worth, because that's kind of the root of one of my issues with the self-help community is the money that's in the self-help community. So it says here the improvement market was worth $11.6 billion in 2019. It contracted a little in 2020, and then they're expecting it to grow to $14 billion by 2025. $14 billion. I don't even know how to conceptualize $14 billion. How to win friends and influence people? Yeah. Throw your comment up there. Yeah. So $14 billion. So this is written about like the pandemic, but it kind of gives you an idea of sort of how it breaks down, right? So they've got live events and seminars. The first person that might come to your mind if you think about the self-help industry and live events is probably either Tony Robbins, or Rachel Hollis. Rachel Hollis trying to be like the girl boss version of Tony Robbins, right? Big arenas full of everybody talking about, trying to be a better you and make more money and blah, blah, blah. Did I read them? I did. Well, that's not true. The self-help, the How to Win Friends and Influence People, and the, what was the other one? The, shit, I just lost it. Fucking kidney brain. Those 2 books, though, I have tried to read both of them when I was back in the MLM days, and I just could not get through them. Yes, Patricia, the whole self-help preys on vulnerable people, much like multi-level marketing does. But so then we've got motivational speakers. Again, Tony Robbins, Rachel Hollis. You've got, who else? There's a whole bunch of them. I even have a planner we're going to review live in our next version of this live stream. It's a planner that I'm referring to as the Bro Planner, but that's not actually what it is. It's a planner basically built by this whole industry. You're going to fucking die. Oh my God. So audiobooks, personal coaching, and then this even cuts into like the self-help industry is not just about there's all sorts of branches of it, right? You could consider the weight loss industry to be a self-help industry, right? Like an adjacent portion of the self-help industry. You could imagine that manifestation and, fucking living your best life and the law of attraction and The Secret. That's also adjacent self-help industry. There's anything from the book Atomic Habits, which I actually think is a really actionable, really good book, to the life-changing magic of tidying up. These are all books that fall under the massive purview of self-help, which makes sense. So when you think about $14 billion, if you think about all of these things that can fall under that, then it makes sense why it makes so much money. But at the same time, it feels like it's at the heart of it. There's probably things that are very useful for people, but so much of it is fucking snake oil. And it's that much money going into snake oil. Dave Ramsey. Oh, trust when I say I want to talk about him too, although it kind of scares me because I've heard that he's very litigious. So, yeah. Yeah, we got Dave Ramsey. We got the detox industry. Oh, yes. You wait, Debbie. Tony Robbins came to your work to speak. Oh, God. You want to believe in it so bad that it makes you feel like you're doing a bad job at life. The industry seems to be about increased productivity and making wealth. Yes, yes. So, first and foremost, before I get too deep into the kind of my thoughts on it specifically, I want to say up front, and this goes to exactly what you're saying, Joshi, you think what makes it tricky is that there are things that can be useful. And this is the thing. There is legitimately stuff within the self-help industry that you can find very helpful. Ultimately, when you think about what the self-help industry is, it's what it sounds like. It's you yourself are trying to find ways to improve upon your life, regardless of what that improvement is. You might be wanting to improve on your fitness. You might want to be improving on your productivity. You might want to be improving on your sleep. That's what it is. And that's human to want to improve on things that you feel like need improving, But the problem is when it becomes sort of the purpose of your life, or becomes the obsession, or the thing that you're trying to improve on becomes your only focus, and you lose the flavor and the texture of the rest of your life. Patricia, that's an awesome comment. It's another, the prosperity gospel is another kind of, I really want to get some spicy takes going on this live stream. Would Moxie Life fit? Moxie Life definitely fits into self-help. Any goal planner, cultivate what matters. Or any planner in general. The planner community, one of the reasons I thought this would be a good topic to kick this off on is that the planner community is very adjacent to self-help, because you, at its basic core, using a planner, using a calendar is to keep track of your appointments. That's the basic. But once you move beyond just keeping track of your appointments and you use it to really plan your life, to optimize your life however you want to, it becomes a form of self-help. And much like, some of you have said, that doesn't make it a bad thing. It's, I guess maybe what I want to talk about in this little live stream is my relationship with self-help and with the industry as a whole. Because that's really there are problematic people and there are problematic companies within the culture of self-help, but those are for specific deep dives. What this is really about is how I interface with self-help. And so maybe give you an idea of how you're interfacing with it. But there is shit you can take away from it. If there's something that's really helpful for you, like my Moxie Life Planner is extremely helpful for me. Its method of doing things is extremely helpful for me. It doesn't make me feel bad about myself. It doesn't make me feel like there's something wanting. It's just a tool to help me do the things that I want to be doing and to help me discern what those things are when sometimes I'm confused. Now, if I was looking at it, so that's like an example for me of a self-help thing that is useful for me and that I have a good relationship with. It's not toxic. What I do have a toxic relationship with is self-help podcasts. I used to be obsessed with self-help podcasts. I would have one in my ear every time, whether it was for my own specific well-being or whatever, or whether it was a lot of business related podcasts, a lot of podcasts helping me or trying to help me to be a better business person, to organize my time better, to utilize my time better, to hire all those things. Suddenly, I realized that all I was getting when I was listening to those podcasts was more reasons to feel bad about myself. And there was the more reasons to feel bad about myself, and there was the information overload where all I was doing was accumulating information and not actually doing anything with it. And the reason I wasn't actually doing anything with it is because I didn't really want to do anything with it, but I thought I was supposed to be doing something with it. So I would keep listening, feel worse and worse about myself, have a longer and longer to-do list of things that I didn't want to do in the first place, and I wasn't enjoying myself. And so you know what I did? I fucking unsubscribed from all those podcasts, and I put only podcasts I really wanted to listen to that I found entertaining or distressing, depending on which I was just listening to Behind the Bastards 4-part series on Clarence Thomas, which was fascinating and entertaining and also made me feel awful. So depends on how you look at it. But it's definitely not a podcast that was meant to improve anything. It was just interesting. And that felt so refreshing to me. Okay, go into the comments. Debbie says, if they sell more than books, watch out. Yep. If they don't cite sources, it's BS. Hustle culture sucks. Yes. Jamie says it's so hard because while some people are just problematic, so much of it is how individuals handle it. And that's the fine line I'm trying to walk here. There is someone like Tony Robbins who may have nuggets of wisdom in what he says, but as a person and as an industry, he horrifies me. Dave Ramsey's another great example of that. There is stuff that he says and that he teaches that has been so helpful for so many people. And yet, not even counting the stuff about his work environment and everything else, but just about the stuff that he talks about. As somebody who grew up in poverty, I find it to be extremely judgmental and really unhelpful in how he talks about things. It's shamey, and I don't like that, right? But that doesn't mean that it didn't work for somebody else. I have a problem with how much ableism there is in self-help culture. Oh, Rachel Hollis. I've got so many things to say. Your father was told he was short because he didn't want to achieve more? What the fuck what is that even supposed to mean? What is that even supposed to mean? Toxic positivity makes you fixate on your flaws and how you should be doing things. My self-help toxic trait is probably not taking action on the good advice I've already consumed. That is definitely something that can happen where you spend all your time in like information consuming mode and not in actually doing things mode. Been there. Problem with self-help is that people with mental issues look at them and when it doesn't work, they blame themselves instead of getting the help that they need. Yeah. Especially when it comes to things like therapy and medications. We're going to talk about that in a second. Sometimes it's things you didn't even care about before the self-help told you to. Yeah. So, okay. Sorry if I keep like wiping at my nose. I can't find my fucking Kleenex and I just took allergy medication. So one of the things that your morning guru is awesome, Molly. One of the things that I find really stressful about the self-help industry, especially now in the age of social media, is that there is no accountability for the people who are like the gurus of self-help. Now you have someone like Brene Brown, and my sister loves Brene Brown. I'm kind of iffy on Brene Brown. There's some of her stuff I really like. There's some of her stuff I kind of have a problem with. But you can't deny that she is a researcher and like actually is qualified in her field to talk about some of the things that she talks about. But then there are other people who I keep coming back to Rachel Hollis here, but like she jokes about how she never went to college. She got everything she knows from the Google. And that's kind of a problem with self-help like gurus out there, is that they didn't do any studying or any, like, I'm not saying academia is the end all be all, but there is a reason that people have to study and get certifications for certain things. When you're playing with people's minds and you're playing with their bodies when it comes to like fitness and things like that, the fact that they're like, it's easy for someone to start an Instagram account and pop up a vanity website and call themselves a self-help person with no real like meat behind that except for their own experiences. Now, people ask me questions or they ask me for advice or I speak on stage. And whenever I do that, I'm always trying to speak from my experience and to make it be my experience. So somebody might resonate with me because they have a chronic illness. And so their experiences are similar to mine. But there are experiences I have no experience. How many times can I say experience in one sentence, right? For example, I'm going to pull something right out of the air. Bipolar disease. I don't have bipolar disease. No one in my family has bipolar disease that we know about. I don't have any experience with bipolar disease. So if you are bipolar and you are asking me for specific to bipolar disease advice, I don't have advice for you because I have no experience with that. Now, if you ask me about how I manage my life with somebody who has anxiety problems or who has people in her family with mental illness, I can speak more generally to that from my experience, but I'm not an expert and I don't play one on TV and I'm not going to try to play one on TV. And so it's very easy for someone to present themselves professionally on the internet with no real like helpful experience. And I'm going to go back to Rachel Hollis again. This is, I swear to God, that's why I haven't done any of the podcasts I've said I was going to do on her, because it's just so much. But one of the things with her that really horrifies me is the way that she talks about the things that happened to her as universal for everybody, right? When it comes to how she built her business, it's not universal to everybody that they were married, that she was married to a Disney executive with a massive amount of income to fund the work that she was doing. You know, like that's not something that we all have. But when you say, well, everybody has the same 24 hours in the day, everybody, like technically that's true. We all do have 24 hours in a day because a day is 24 hours. But we don't all have the same resources. We don't all have the same energy levels. We don't all have the same experiences. We don't all have the same obligations. We don't all have the same financial capabilities, which I guess falls under resources. So that it's simplistic. And that's, I think, what goes back to my problem that I started to butt into. That was kind of the first inkling that I had, that not only, like, I knew that there were people in the self-help industry I had a lot of problems with, obviously. What I think really I started to realize that even the stuff I was consuming that didn't feel problematic to me, my relationship wasn't great with it, was when I started to feel bad about things that they would say, because it felt like I could never do that. And then I realized, well, just because they say we should be able to do that doesn't mean that it's possible for me. And if it's not possible for me, that's not my fault. And it's not something for me to feel bad about. Does that make sense? It's simplistic. These people calling themselves gurus, the only way to appeal to lots of people and make money is to simplify things. That's why toxic positivity is a thing. It simplifies things instead of looking at nuance and looking at the way we're human. And humans are not simple creatures. We are complicated, with complicated lives and complicated situations and complicated problems. Oh, the food babe was an example. She always said she had a PhD, but never that it was in computer engineering. Yeah. It's really annoying when the self-help people imply everything in your life is under your control. That's provably not true. Yes. Michelle. Oh my God. 24 hours are completely different even compared to my significant other, and we live in the same house with similar situations. Right. Diane, you have depression, anxiety, and you totally blame myself. And that's the thing. Like, some of us have to fight against our bodies every day. Some of us have to fight against our brains every day. And some of us have to fight against, like, our habits. And there's things that we can make changes to improve things or to make small amounts of progress. But it's not this idea that there is a perfect self that we are striving towards. And I think that's the vibe I get from so much self-help, that there is the right place to get to, and you're not there yet, and you got to do shit to get there, whether it's the right weight or the right amount of money that you make, or the right, I don't know, skin cleanliness, I don't know, something like, those are just, there's no one size fits all to anything in life. And thinking that you're going to be able to get personalized stuff from a book that was written to appeal to a bigger audience it's futile. Like they say on Star Trek, resistance is futile. So, yeah. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps meant something. Yeah, you can't do that. Have you ever tried to do that? Like, if you put on your shoes, put on your Uggs, put on whatever your fugs. If you're like me and you have fake Uggs, try and pull yourself up by your boots. It doesn't work. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. Life is not a destination. It's a journey. Oh, can't be happy until, or I can't be happy unless. Yeah. You're never going to be happy because you're never perfect. Whenever you achieve something, there's always more to achieve. It's never ending. It's like I say to people about art, right? If you think you've learned everything that there is to know about art, you're probably not that good at it. Because an artist knows that they always are improving. They're always getting better. Practice, you're always going to get better at it. There's always something new to learn, right? And that's not about self-improvement. That's about the journey of being an artist. It's not about finishing one painting. It's about making it a lifetime of a practice. And so that's the vibe I'm trying to take into the world of self-help right now. Because I have found when I look at my stack of books, I have a stack of books, I'm looking right at it, of self-help books I haven't read that I've bought and keep telling myself I'm going to read. I have websites and YouTubers I watch and podcasts, like I said, all of these things. And all they're doing is making me feel like feel bad about myself. They make me feel like I'm not doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. They make me feel like somehow I'm behind the curve of my life. Diane, it's okay. Uh, it was a little mind-blowing to me when I realized that there's money in it for them to keep me down. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. Let's go. Let's zoom in, shall we? Let's zoom in on, where are we? Here. Where are we at here? $14 billion industry. Where would this industry be if we weren't buying those things and spending that money? Where would the weight loss industry be if we all were confident with our bodies and comfortable with our bodies? Now, if you're having health problems, or if you want to lose weight for whatever reason, then by all means do it in a healthy and sustainable way. But where would that industry be if we didn't have marketing continually telling us that we're not right? You want to know something interesting? You want to do something fun? Go to Reddit and go to the subreddit r/Instagram reality. This is a subreddit that collects people who over filter and Photoshop themselves. It's mind-blowing. Like the way that people, and with social media, with filters, it's like you filter your face, but you're never going to look like that in real life. Even if you have the best skin and the best makeup, people have pores. And if you look at these retouching things, people don't have pores. So like all of those different things, those things that are being projected at us, they ultimately, they want us to spend money. That's what it is. You know, all of the body standards. It leads into a funnel to spend money. Everything, all about this. It's about, now there are some people who honestly want to help people, but when you write a book that's meant for a generality of people, you're trying to like make money. That's what it is. I'm just looking through the comments real quick. Marina says, I got great experience reading books written by psychologists and social workers on specific stuff like self-compassion or habit change. And that's kind of where I'm sort of leading into with all of this. Aaron, I didn't realize you were 50. I didn't realize you were 51. Blows my mind. No, like you would think that we're past this. It just evolves. Like how diets, people don't say diets, it's wellness. I'm not going on a diet. I'm working on my wellness. It's the same fucking shit, the way you see it. When you look at people online, especially like young people, like Gen Z people, if you really want to fall down the rabbit hole of self-help, look up the That Girl trend on Instagram, on TikTok. It's this like shape your entire life around being your best self, drinking your green juice and yoga and waking up at 5 a.m, all this other shit. Like it just evolves into something else, but it's the same thing, just packaged differently. Jamie, those unfiltered pics of Kim Kardashian, they do that often on r/Instagram reality. Yep. Self-hate is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. It's basically the root. Capitalism and profits over people, right? Keto equals Atkins. You know, yeah, like things just get repackaged and resold as something else. When something becomes not palatable anymore for people, when they kind of evolve past that, they find something else, another way to sell it to us. So basically, how do we help each other? This is, okay, so again, generalizations. I'm giving you what I'm doing. Take from it what you will. I'm going on a self-help cleanse. I'm going on a self-help cleanse. How is this going to work? Well, I'm not going to read any self-help books through the end of the year. I have a whole stack. I had planned on reading some this year. Just going to save them. The one book that's kind of, it's not self-help, but it's kind of adjacent that I really want to read is, it's called Confidence Culture. It's about, which is related to this topic, and I do really want to do a podcast on it or this. Your green juice is probably just Mountain Dew. So, confidence culture is about how this idea of women needing more confidence can be really like complicated and racist and ableist. And I'm just very fascinated by it. But yeah, other than that, I am going to set all of my self-help books to the side for the rest of the year to just step away from them. I'm going to read fiction, biographies, not self-help biographies, but like fucking self-awesome biographies, like finishing that Catherine the Great biography or the one I just read on Hurrem Sultan. I'm going to read fiction. I'm going to read biographies. I'm going to read whatever I want that's not self-help or business book oriented. I'm just going to set those to the side for the rest of the year. I want all of my reading to be for pleasure, and I have decided that those books are not pleasurable for me. So there's that. Number 2, I already talked about the podcasts, but I am only going to listen again to podcasts that I find for pleasure. So currently, I'll let you know the last couple of podcasts I just finished. I just listened to the French Women Don't Get Fat episode of Maintenance Phase, which I felt so called out on because I loved that book. And now looking back, I realize it's because that was deep when I was in my land of not healthy relationships with food. So Maintenance Phase, I love because it deconstructs those things for me. And I just adore that podcast. And then I listened to, like I said, the 4-part Clarence Thomas podcast for Behind the Bastards, which I 10 out of 10 recommend. And if you like that one, also the John Wayne series on Behind the Bastards. I'm not always a fan of Behind the Bastards, but when they get it, they really get it. And then the only businessy related thing that I'm going to listen to on the regular is the Creative Pep Talk Creative Pep Talk podcast. But the reason I like that one, it's very much geared towards artists and creatives. He's really good at breaking down your creative practice and things like that. And to me, that's the kind of self-help I'm into. The stuff that helps me like continually invigorate my artistic like soul. That doesn't feel toxic to me. That feels, like I said, with art, the lifetime journey of art. That podcast to me is nourishing in that respect. However, if a topic pops up that feels more on the business end of things than the creative side of things, I'll probably skip it. But I'm trying to be very discerning with what I'm listening to. I'm just scrolling. Is the productivity topic off of the list too? Okay, so productivity is the meat of, for me generally, what brought me into the planner world in the first place, right? Where productivity and creativity intersect with each other. I can't divest myself altogether from productivity stuff because I do use that on a daily basis. What I need to do is what I have to do, and I've kind of done this already, and actually the Moxie Life has been very helpful with that, is realize that for me, the productivity advice that I need to remember to follow is the stuff that helps me get through each of my days on as even a keel as possible. That keeps me from getting super anxious or having panic attacks, but that keeps me from being like completely zoned out. Now, losing my grandmother or whatever. And there are times when I'm in chronic pain where I have to like zone out. But what I need is to keep my life, like keep the ship of my life on calm waters so that when something happens, like my grandmother dying, I can deal with that without every other crisis going off. I've been in crisis mode for parts of my life where it feels like every second there's more balls flying at my face. And I'm not there right now, but sometimes any little crisis to me gets like blown way out of proportion. And so the kinds of productivity advice I need right now is stuff to help me keep my life on track so that I don't have panic attacks. And so I just keep things in perspective. What that means is watching people's plan with me's where there's a good mix of planning stuff and decoration and like chill chatting, like that sort of thing is mellow to me. What that doesn't mean, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole recently when I was spacing out of watching people's like super productive days in the life. No, that stuff stresses me out. So I need to keep on the things that are reminding me that my best days are the boring days, because the boring days are the days where shit stays on calm waters. And so that's what I'm working on. I'm just like scrolling and looking. Okay, I'm going back and I see this comment from the journaling broom. The reason why women, and specifically brown and black people and women, have higher risk of low confidence is because society looks down. That's exactly what that book I was talking about is about. Okay. You got what you needed to get done? That's productive, Debbie. Toxic productivity, Caitlin, is something that I am also or Catlin, is something I'm very also addicted to. And that's also something, this whole self-help thing, I'm trying to divest from that before I really start to divest from toxic productivity. Yeah. There we go, Jamie. That was actually the topic of my Go Wild conversation this year, was the mundane parts of life. Like, really leaning into the mundane parts of life is something I'm working on right now. And why the stuff in my planner for like my weekly actions is simple shit. Like, oh my God, what month are we on? I don't even know. I haven't done my planner for this week yet. Going to the dog park. That's on my weekly actions. One of my, like, on my list of things I'd like to do this week to improve my life is to take Layla to the dog park, because A, gets us out of the house, B, we're making friends at the dog park, C, it's awesome for Layla, and D, it helps even out her energy over the course of the next day. So yeah, but it's just having fun, going to the dog park. Low stakes. So that's kind of one of the things I'm working on right now, is trying to avoid books, YouTube, podcasts, that kind of shit that adds to my general unease and malaise with my life. Now, I'm 42 years old. I'm a 42-year-old lady. Generally speaking, I'm happy with my life. Generally speaking, I'm content with my circumstances. I'm sick and there's all sorts of things I'm dealing with, but like, I don't feel the need to make major changes in my life right now. But then when I read something that makes me feel like, well, maybe I should be making major changes. Maybe I'm not productive enough. Maybe I'm not active enough. Maybe I'm not whatever enough. You know, like, I'm trying to avoid that. The reason I have my Peloton and I want to ride my Peloton is not because I'm trying to live my best life. It's because I'm trying to improve my heart health and my cardiovascular health so that when I get a transplant, it lasts longer. I want to be like my grandma and die in my late 80s, content and peaceful at the long end of a long life of my kidney that lived longer than it was supposed to. Like, that's what I want. And so that's why I'm doing it. Like, I don't care. I like how my body looks. I have big kidney, but I've got body image issues. We all do, I'm sure. But like, generally speaking, I'm fine with whatever. I'm fine, but I want, those are the things I want to work on, and I know why I want to work on them. So that's the other piece of this. If there's something about yourself you want to work on, if there's something that you're being drawn to when it comes to self-help, whether it's your productivity, whether it's your weight, whatever it is, right? I know I keep coming back to weight. Please remember that body standards are not the same ever. So like, how you feel about your body, never mind, we'll move on. But like, the point is like, what's your reason? Why is it you want that? And for me, I know why I want to get on the Peloton. It's because I want my cardiovascular health to be better. And they finally have a Muse ride from this last weekend's All for One music festival. And I have that on my list for this week because I fucking love Muse. New album is coming out. Fuck yeah. Oh, that sounds like an awesome book, Christine, and I will save that for next year when I allow myself to read self-help again, but Radically Content, and it's helping me not always be dissatisfied. Yeah. But yeah, Michelle, yeah, I had toddlers when I was in my mid-20s and I was tired all the time too. I couldn't imagine doing it. I mean, I guess I have a toddler dog and a toddler cat right now. That's a little hard. Yeah, I have Wintering from the library right now, Cheryl. That one might be on my list of things I'll read right now as well. But you told your GP you want to lose weight so you can live long enough to enjoy the retirement you're saving money for. Like, that's the thing. Like, recognize, and this is something that's really has been hard for me to embrace, but this is kind of where I'm going to leave it. I know this is not really I don't have a great answer for any of this, but like I've said, the problem for me with a lot of self-help is how generalized it is. And so I can't give you real answers to any of this because I don't have them, because I'm not you. I don't even have them for me. But one thing I have come to the conclusion of over the years, and as I have finally started to become at peace with myself, is that my body, my mind, that whole idea of them being a temple, that bothers me sometimes because when people treat that as like, okay, and so this is why I'm going to like drink lemon juice and cayenne pepper because my body is a temple. No, this body, this mind, these are the ones I have. And so I want to take care of them. I want to do the things I need to do for them to continue to live my life in a peaceful and comfortable way as best as I can. But also, like, because they're what I have, I need to be respectful is not the right word. Grateful. I'm grateful for the body I have, for the mind I have. I'm in kidney failure. I've got massive kidneys. I'm in pain all the time. I'm not grateful for being in pain all the time. There's times I'm fucking mad at my body, but I'm still here. And I'm grateful for that. I'm doing my best, and I'm grateful for that. Sometimes my best is staying in bed all day and sitting on Reddit because I'm sad. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that. And that's the thing I kind of remind myself of. It's not perfect. There's things I want to work on. There's things that are hard for me. There's things I don't like. But I'm here. It's another day. And I'm grateful for that. So fuck all the people out there making money off of telling me that I need to be a better person. Because just as I am, I'm grateful for that. And that's the thing I'm trying to focus on. The improvements I want to make are targeted, and I know why I want to make them. And anybody who's telling me that generally there's something I need to work on because of X, Y, or Z, the 4-hour work week, fucking atomic habits, whatever you want to say. Like, no, you want to make money off of my self-esteem being lower? Fuck you. I'm keeping my money. And I am going to be grateful for myself. We do need to talk about ableism, Debbie, because so much of the self-help industry and everything else is tied up in both physical ableism, like people with able bodies, and people who are not dealing with neurodivergency of any sort. But that's going to be an entirely different stream, and I will make sure to make that be a follow-up to this. Kathy, this is the thing I've been working on. You just said it so eloquently. I have chronic illness. Me and my body are trying to find mutual respect. That's the thing I'm working on. It's a great way to put it. Mutual respect. We got shit we got to deal with, but we can start from a basis of respect. Rest is resistance. Oh, that sounds awesome too. Damn it. Do those count as self-help books? No, they don't. Now, Michelle, you've got this though. I think my issue is why I want to include self-help in the mix is because my focus is on my kids. My daily habits are giving them a bath, blah, blah, blah. your focus needs to be on you too. And that you're in toddlerhood with twins. That's a major tension. Parents with a toddler deal with that, let alone twins. So rather than letting self-help dictate to you, start thinking about the tiny ways you can add it in, because no self-help book is going to be able to know your life, and you're just going to feel inadequate sometimes if you're reading these books and they're like, well, take time for this or this or this. And you're like, what fucking time are you talking about? Right? So think about little things that bring you joy and try and find spaces to incorporate them, and be kind to yourself when you don't. We don't always have to be doing our best. You're bipolar and a truck driver. You have to stop. Yeah. Even the ableists don't make it out of this world alive. Laziness does not exist. These are great books. We're going to have to make a list. If you have books you want to recommend for this particular topic, go to the form in my description and just throw them into one of the boxes there, because I want to keep a running list of this. And this is a great place to end it, because this is exactly it. Self-help is very one size fits all. It reeks of the idea that the same things work for all people and all situations. And that right there sums up a lot of my toxic relationship with self-help, is that I keep trying to apply these people's ideas of what they think is going to make you a better person to my life without them actually knowing what my life is. And so it's just a cycle of constant disappointment and shitty self-esteem. Fuck it. I don't want that anymore. It's not about that. So that's what I'm working on. Anyway, so I hope you guys liked this first of our live shows. I know it was a little all over the place, but I'm still, I didn't have as much prep time as I wanted for this, because I've been kind of reeling since Grandma died. But I will also give you the update. My brother-in-law is home and is still recovering from his serotonin syndrome, but he is home and he is recovering and doing better. I appreciate all your condolences. Use the suggestions box in the description. There's a form there for you to fill out. Give me any suggestions you have, and we will incorporate this. Next week will be a live plan with me, and then we will add on. Our next live show is going to be about, like I said, it's a productivity planner, basically created for the people who worship at the altar of self-help. So it should be interesting. Anyway, I love this. You guys are all great. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.